So another disastrous, I guess, team that I want to talk about is the Philadelphia Eagles. And I think a lot of people had high expectations, or I don't know if high expectations is the word, but better expectations for this team. They are really underperforming. They are 3-8-1 at the moment, and Carson Wentz just got benched for Jalen Hurts. And Doug Peterson, obviously, after the game said, we don't know who the starting quarterback's going to be next week. We have to evaluate it. He seemed pretty pissed off, and for obvious reasons. His team is playing terrible. They did not play well at all against Green Bay. And things aren't looking good in Philadelphia. I know a couple years ago, obviously, they won the Super Bowl, and now you flash forward a couple years, and it's a train wreck there. So I want to hear you guys' thoughts. What's going on in Philadelphia, and do you guys think that Jalen Hurts should be starting the rest of the way?
I'm just going to give a little quick synopsis because I know Sam is he's the Green Bay legend over here. He's going to break down Hurts. He's going to break down the Eagles, say what they did right and what they did wrong. But let me just talk about the Eagles, generally. I saw some tweets that were saying that Carson Wentz lost a lot of his confidence when they drafted Hurts. I don't know how true that is, but I think it does make a little bit of sense because he's definitely making, mind-boggling decisions in terms of his turnovers. And, ever since he tore his ACL, it's not like he's been a turnover-free MVP kind of guy. He's definitely not what he used to be. So it's possible he's kind of just, I wouldn't say like coming down to earth, but he's kind of just lost what he once had. But it is also possible that, the confidence is playing an issue when they draft Hurts that early. When you think you're the franchise quarterback, it definitely can, hurt your mental state, your confidence, whatever you want to call it, a little bit. And that does make sense on why he would be making weird decisions on the football field, because confidence plays into your decision making. So I think it's very possible that's what it is. And obviously the Eagles have had tons of injuries once again, before the season even started. I think they had 2 linemen go down for the entire year. Mm-hmm. And they were projected to have the first or second best offensive line going into the season. So when you don't have that, Carson Wentz has been sacked, I think, the most in the NFL. Is that correct? Yeah. So that on top of that's obviously going to hurt your confidence a little bit. Every time you're dropping back, you think you're going to get hit, which he is pretty much getting hit every time he drops back. So all that combined is a reason why, Carson Wentz isn't nearly as good as he used to be, or isn't playing as well as he used to. And that's pretty much where we're at. Now they have a QB decision, and let's see what Sam thinks about the QB decision.
Well, so first and foremost, Doug Peterson told Carson Wentz that he was putting Hurts in for the series just for the series, and then Wentz would go back out. And then, Jalen Hurts throws that dime to Jalen Reagor on the sideline. And he's like, oh, shit. All right, well, we needed a spark in our offense, I guess. And they ended up getting pushed out field goal range and had to punt. And then they were down 23-3 at this point. Carson Wentz was a joke in the first half. Green Bay's defense was getting after him all day. And Rashawn Gary was getting at him. Kingsley Keke was getting at him. Zadarius Smith, Preston Smith, just everyone on our D-line was getting at him. Our corners were doing a pretty great job of shutting down his supporting cast. Their supporting cast is not that good. And we actually were doing pretty well at stopping the run game, which if you can get the run started on Green Bay, you have a recipe for success on capitalizing on their defense. And they decided not to do that, which I find very interesting. And they didn't run it as much as they should have. But they're down 23-3, and it's late in the third quarter. Jalen Hurts, he comes in, and the Packers, one thing that pisses the hell out of me for the Packers is our defense always takes their foot off the gas late in games, and I'd rather them just step their foot on their neck and go for the kill rather than, kind of keeping them in it. And look no further than week 1 against the Vikings. We demolished the Vikings, but it looked a lot closer than it did because Kirk Cousins got a lot of garbage time throws. And last week, even against the Bears, it was 41 points to 25, but the Bears didn't get past double-digit points until the fourth quarter, and the game was essentially done by that point. And so the Packers are in complete prevent. We play heavy zone, soft zone, far back. We're really just trying to eat clock. That's all we're doing. And Jalen Hurts gets them into 4th and 18, and they have to go for it, obviously, because, they're just trying to get points on the board, obviously. And I will say this, he throws a dime to, I believe it was Greg Ward in the end zone. And it was a great play, I will say that. And he was a lot better than Wentz in this game because he actually got out of the pocket, out of the pressure, and was moving a bit. And that actually helped them a bit. But the reason why it was working is because Green Bay didn't prepare for Jalen Hurts. They prepared for Carson Wentz. And then when they actually ended up facing Jalen Hurts, they were playing their prevent. So they're just letting them do all the easy stuff so that they can just get the time going and get it down, and then it's over. And then, so it's 10-23, and then Green Bay is going to get the ball back. But then the Eagles get the punt return TD. And then that kind of pulls it within one score, obviously. And, now you got a little bit closer of a game on your hands. Packers adjust. They actually put a spy on Jalen Hurts, and they completely shut him out on the next series. And first down, they had a play that was a run, and it didn't work. And then they sacked him on the next play, and then he threw a pick right to Darnell Savage. So, and that basically iced the game, and they ran Aaron Jones 77 yards to the end zone. Iced the game. So I will say this, guys. Jalen Hurts was not amazing. A lot of people are making it out to be that he was fantastic in this game. And I do think it's the right decision to, play him going forward, because some people are arguing that you need to play Wentz so he can regain his confidence. If you're going to play him, he's not gaining confidence. Have you seen him play? He's just losing it at every game that goes by. He's pathetic out there right now. So in order to actually get a return in the value that you invested in Jalen Hurts from that second round pick, in order to get some sort of return for that, you have to give him reps. So if you want to trade him, you want to have him be your future quarterback potentially and trade Wentz. I don't know what Wentz's value is right now, but it's nothing that spectacular. But you have to give Hurts reps because the season's basically lost at this point. And just don't get too ahead of yourselves with this Jalen Hurts performance, because I know how Green Bay plays late in games like this. They let guys do what they want, and that's exactly what happened here.
That's fair. I also do want to say Carson Wentz by no means has had a good season, but I do think a lot of it has to do with, I know we talked about this earlier in the podcast or in a couple episodes ago, Doug Peterson and the offense have not allowed him to flourish at all. I mean, you look at the weapons around him, you can't really expect him to be incredible when that's the type of support you're putting around him. And the play calling, I've discussed this, has been terrible, to say the least. I think people forget Carson Wentz before this season was a top 7 quarterback in this league, maybe top 8. He was incredible. And I was really high on him, and I was scared of him whenever I, as a Washington fan, faced him. I mean, he was really good. So I don't think that one single season should really dictate his whole career. And while it's a really bad season, I do think that they should not give up on Carson Wentz. I mean, you look at the dead cap they would have if they, I guess, released him. I don't think that would happen. They would probably find a trade. But still, I mean, he signed into this big contract. You kind of, in my opinion, have to be committed to it. And while we have a Hurts that is playing better, I just think that it'd be kind of silly to give up on Wentz just because of one season. See how he does next season. Try and build a support system around him, and don't give him a Greg Ward, Jalen Reagor as his wide receivers. And while Reagor is a rookie, and while he does have tremendous upside from just this season alone, he has been fantastic. So I wouldn't give up on Wentz, even though Hurts is, like you said, probably playing a little bit better. I just don't think that's the right move at the moment.
Yeah, I think it's funny. It's like, I mean, I'm not disagreeing either when you say it, but you're like, yeah, don't give them Jalen Reagor and, JJ Arcega-Whiteside on the outside. Oh, you mean their picks from this year and last year? Like, yeah, the Eagles have not done a good job at, getting him weapons. They just haven't been picking right for Wentz. And I do agree. I don't think you can fully give up on him. I think you can kind of play like a Tom Brady. I mean, obviously, it's just similar. Tom Brady, Jimmy Garoppolo a little bit. Like Wentz because Wentz, you've invested all that money into him. Like you said, it's going to be dead cap. So you kind of have to go with him again. And he has been great in the past. So don't let this one season totally derail you with all the injuries they've had and, maybe the confidence issues he's having. Go with him next year. Hurts can be on the bench once again. He's a rookie. You can stay on the bench for 2 to even 3 years as a rookie QB and still have a great career. Yes, they've invested a high draft pick into him, but they've invested technically more into Wentz. So I think they should stick with him again. If he continues to struggle into next year when you get all those guys back healthy, then halfway through the season, then you go to Hurts and give him some reps there. But as for this year, I think it's possible that they go with Jalen for the rest of the year and then Wentz starts next year. That's a really weird situation. But like you said, like Sam said, you're playing Wentz right now. It's honestly almost hurting him. Like it's really not helping him because of the situation he's in. And so maybe sitting him and then having him start next year when all those guys come back healthy, maybe that's the way they go. But it is a really weird situation. So.